In the heart of an ancient world, where whispers of forgotten gods still linger, a destiny was born. This is the Saga of Portugal. Not just a chronicle of kings and battles, but a living tapestry woven with threads of myth, magic, and a determined, unyielding spirit. From the primal forests where defiance first took root, to the boundless oceans where dreams set sail, witness a journey through centuries. A land shaped by courage, haunted by shadows, and forever reaching for the unknown. Prepare to step into a legend where history breathes and adventure calls. The epic begins now.
I was 12 years old when I first saw Sog the Marais rise from the morning mist, the city's market spilling over with shouts. Igas Moniz, my loyal tutor and guardian, walked beside me, hand firm on the reins. Eyes forward. "Afonso," he said. "A king must look to the horizon, not at his feet." My eyes lingered on the castle ahead, my future home, though I did not yet know how hard I would have to fight for it. By 14, the courtyard had become my battlefield. The weight of a sword felt unnatural in my hands, but Igas's voice cut through my fatigue. 2 years later, at 16, I trained alone. Igas no longer corrected me. I had learned to correct myself. My blade sang against the practice post, my breath steady, my mind already dreaming of battles to come. At 20, I entered my mother's great hall for the last time as her loyal son. Queen Teresa sat on the throne, her face calm, but her eyes calculating.
My lords, today I announce the alliance between the County of Portugal and Kingdom of León. With this pact we strengthen our bonds and secure the future of our lands. United we advance in power and respect.
Nobles and peasants alike bowed low before her. I did not bow. After the gathering, I confronted her in her private chambers.
As a mother and as regent, it is my duty to ensure survival. León is our root, our shield. To ally with them is prudence, not weakness.
My father did not fight for us to be vassals. This county cannot live forever bowed. Portuguese blood was not born for the yoke of others.
You speak of dreams, but dreams cost blood. The people will pay that price.
Better the risk of struggle than the certainty of submission.
If you take this step, there is no turning back. Tell me then, between power and family, which will you choose?
I choose destiny. Not against you, mother, but for Portugal.
That night, I rode from the castle with Igas, Moniz, and a band of loyal warriors. We made camp under the stars, the fire's glow catching the edges of our shields. In the darkness, oaths were sworn. Portugal would be free, or we would die in the attempt. Dawn broke over São Mamede like the opening of a wound. Across the field, the banners of Castile and Lincoln snapped in the wind. The charge thundered forward. Steel rang, arrows hissed. I remember the heat under my armor, the sting of sweat in my eyes, and the moment I struck down a knight whose crest I had known since childhood. When the dust settled, my mother's forces lay broken. I did not look back at the field as we marched away. Portugal's first heartbeat had been bought in blood, but we held on to our share of the land, and though fragile, it was ours. We secured uneasy truces with neighbours and sought the aid of Crusaders, passing through Iberia, men who carried the cross on their shields and the hunger for glory in their eyes. Together, we turned south, where Moorish strongholds promised both land and destiny. My knights gathered around me, blue crosses shining against the sun. I remember lifting my sword skyward and seeing, or perhaps only believing I saw, a cross of light blaze above us. I shouted, "We fight not just for land, but for the soul of Portugal." The battle raged until my arm ached, my throat raw from shouting orders. But when the enemy broke and fled, the field belonged to us that night. My men lifted me upon their shields and named me king. The title felt heavy, but it fit. They say a king is made by the crown. They are wrong. A king is made by the men who believe in him. My knights knelt before me, their cheers echoing through the camp. For the first time, I truly felt Portugal take form, not as a dream, but as a living nation. We struck south like a storm. At Santarém, we breached the gates before dawn, driving the Moors from the streets with sword and shield. At Lisbon, the siege was long and cruel. Stone walls rained arrows, boiling oil poured down on us. But we did not relent. When Lisbon's gates finally opened, the city became the beating heart of our growing realm. From its towers, I could see the Tagus glittering like a promise of more to come. Power is not kept by the sword alone. I forged treaties with distant kingdoms, traded salt for steel, and bound lords to my cause through marriage and honour. I walked the fine line between ally and rival, never forgetting that even in peace, a king stands in the shadow of war. The parchment from Rome arrived like a blessing carved in light. Pope Alexander III himself had recognized Portugal as a kingdom, and me as its rightful king. As the crown touched my brow, I felt the weight of every battle, every oath, every life given for this day. God had blessed our cause, but I knew it was men, not miracles, who had built Portugal. Even with Rome's blessing, our work was not done. The south still lay under the crescent banners of the Moors. We marched through heat that turned armour into furnaces, crossing the Tagus and pressing on. We took the stronghold after a week of relentless assault. At Beja, the walls resisted, but hunger and steel broke them. Finally, our banners rose where the enemies had flown for centuries. I gazed at the land, feeling that Portugal had reached its natural bounds north to south, from the Minho to Alentejo. Alentejo was ours. Portugal was almost whole. Now, at the twilight of my years, I walk the walls of Coimbra and hear the laughter of children in the streets. The land is ours, the people free. I think of Aegas Moniz, of my knights, of the blood spilled from São Mamede to the Alentejo. I think of my mother, whose betrayal set me on this path. Portugal will outlive me. That is all any king can hope for, to leave behind a kingdom stronger than he found it. And so I lay down my sword, knowing that the birth of Portugal was not just my story. It was the story of all who dared to fight for it.